Hey guys, here it is, the video you've all been waiting for, the Jungle Inferno video. So it's time for me to jump on the YouTuber bandwagon and cover the update and tell you all what I think. Now I know I'm a little bit late to the party in this one, but there's a reason for my delay here. I wanted to get a little bit more experience into this update. I didn't want to just like cover it like, just first reaction sort of thing, because that was happening all over the place. I wanted to wait and see what was happening. I wanted things to kind of settle down and for everything to really kind of get into place. That way I could get a more accurate description of what was going on, of how everything's going on. And now that the first batch of tweaks and fixes to the game's going on, I feel now's the perfect time to cover it because things are being tweaked in order to be a more final product. So here we are, Jungle Inferno, and what I think of it. So, Jungle Inferno is here, and it's one of the biggest undertakings in TF2, introducing a whole boatload of new content, new maps, new items, new weapons, balance changes, new game modes, everything you could ask for, all the content you could want in one big, massive package, which is to its credit and to its fault to a degree. See, while there is a whole lot of new content to look forward to and a lot to really, really enjoy, the fact that this was done all at once instead of being broken apart into separate updates could end up being detrimental, as having done all of these all at once, even with the massive amount of time that has taken to release this, there's still a bit of polish that needs to be worked on. There's still a few things that need to be tweaked and adjusted. All in all, everything is pretty good. The content is nice. The contracts are fun. The new items are interesting. The new cosmetics are nice. The war paint is just incredible. I really, really, really want my Dragon Slayer minigun. I really want it. I need it. But it's overall really, really nice, but at the same time, it feels like it was not completely thoroughly tested. I did expect a little bit of rough edges and everything, but there's been quite a few little glitches and even a few game-breaking exploits that have happened rather recently that have been a little detrimental to this. To the credit of Valve, though, they were quick to get on the case and fix things, such as the game-breaking Deloka's Gru glitch that allowed a heavy to gain essentially infinite health, given enough time. This it's good to see that Valve is getting on the ball and staying on the ball with this thing, which is another good thing that is coming out of this update. Is we're seeing a lot of activity out of Valve. They're seeming to react to things very quickly. They're seeming to be very quick to where they didn't quite launch this with polish. They're getting on it very quickly to get the polish done. Overall, I think that this was a decent launch for what is probably going to be one of the best updates for TF2. The amount of content, the amount of new things introduced here is absolutely incredible, and some of the balance changes, well, I may not agree with all of them, have been overall fairly nice. Still a little bit of room for tweaking, but what we're seeing here from Valve is that in addition to putting out this massive thing, is they're continuing on it. What I was very worried about is that since Valve was seeming to put all their cards into where they were trying to play a full hand here, I was thinking they were going to try to get everything done at once and then just be done with it. But the recent updates that have been out, fixing things and just working on getting everything fixed up on this update, getting the polish done, it's clear that Valve is at least starting to put a little bit more effort into this. So that's good to see. Individual things that the Jungle Inferno update has brought. The first thing I want to talk about, because it's the thing that is probably the most interesting to me, is the war paints. The war paints were something that were really cool. I've been kind of hoping for a while to have a way to apply skins and paints to items for a while. The war paints is an interesting way to do that, but it didn't quite meet the expectations and the hopes that I had. See, I was really, really looking forward to the war paints, and whenever I went to go apply my first war paint, which was a leopard print uh, with a case that I opened, I was really excited. It was a really nice skin, and I was really, really looking to apply it to my strange professional killstreak Tomislav. What I found out though was I wasn't allowed to apply this skin. Instead, I had to redeem it for a brand new weapon, meaning that chances are in the higher grade skins, I'm not going to be able to get it in Strange, and I'm not going to be able to apply it to weapons I already own. I'm going to have to spend extra money in order to customize my weapons, and especially play a gambling game whenever I'm going for a particular weapon that I want, such as a strange Tomislav with a leopard print. That's just going to be hard as hell to do. I do not like that implementation. I would have much rather had the ability to simply apply the skin to a pre-existing weapon. I think a lot of people were kind of hoping for that. In any case, the skins are actually pretty nice, and it's really cool to have, and it's especially cool to see them bringing back some old styles of skins back into a more all-class thing. I don't like how some weapons are excluded in this system. I was really, really hoping for some Natasha skins and some Fists of Steel skins. Sadly, some weapons are just not on the list to be reskinned for some strange reason. Hopefully that changes in the future. But overall, while the skins themselves are very satisfying, I think the way they function is a little strange to me and seems just to be a little off-putting. In addition, I know some people are having some worries about it affecting the market, making skins obsolete and everything, and those are some concerns that I do share as well. However, I think that this is going to add a little bit more variety into the game, and I think once this particular set of contracts is over, if they discontinue war paints with this, then it's going to be this kind of big bidding war for particular skins of particular items. So I would suggest trying to find your more valuable skins and try to put them on more popular items and whatnot, just in case war paints stop, or just do it however you want. I mean, I've been kind of screwing around with it for a while, and I've found just a bunch of stuff that's really fun. I put a well-worn Civic Duty paint on a Rescue Ranger, and it looks like a Borderlands weapon, which is really, really friggin' cool. But otherwise, I think the war skins are a neat idea with a bit of a weird implementation that I don't necessarily agree with and I would like to see fixed, but overall it's something fun, it's something new, and I'd like to see what else they can do with it. Right. Secondly, of course, we're going to talk about the new weapons. I'm going to start off with the most obvious one, the banana for the heavy. As a heavy main, I'm going to say it's actually decent. It's a good alternative to the sandwich because really you don't need the full health increase that the sandwich gives you. So this gives you a good middle ground where it heals you for 200 health and regenerates in about 10 seconds. So you have something that you can use to heal up a lot of damage fairly quickly without having so much so much of the waste that the sandwich you generally has. With a quicker recharge allows you to spam it out a little bit quicker, so I'm expecting to see this used a bit more in combos, though I think people are going to hold on to the sandwich, like I was talking about in my Delocus versus sandwich video. People are going to rely more on that full heal of the sandwich, but I think we're going to see a little bit more use of the banana. Secondly, there is the pyro weapons, and those are a little iffy in my setting. I think it's a little weird that the gas passer, the way it functions, the way you have to run in order to charge it up, it's interesting, it's weird, but I don't quite get it. I've had trouble using the gas passer, but I think it'll make a great supporting offensive weapon. I think it's going to be just interesting to see how that gets used in the meta. The thermal thruster is insane for the pyro. The switch speed is really slow, which is actually really good because it keeps it balanced. One thing I was afraid of is I was just going to get dropped out of the middle, just out of the middle of nowhere by some pyro that just thermal thrusted across the map, switched midair to the back burner, and then just drop on me. They can't do that, and that is actually really nice. It was something that I was very concerned about, so it's a very nice balancing touch. Really good mobility tool, but not too crazy, so I'm okay with that. The Dragon's Fury is stupidly powerful, and I'm expecting to see some nerf of it some kind soon because it is a little powerful. Personally, I don't like the fact that it crits, well, essentially crits for getting fire damage because, again, this is a flamethrower, so why should it crit for doing the kind of damage that it does by default? I think that's stupid. And I know some of you are saying it doesn't actually do crits, but it does 300% damage. Yes, with fall off, but that's still 300% damage. And with the range of the pyro, fall off is really just kind of, it's unnecessary. So it essentially crits, and I really don't like that. I would be okay with, you know, a sort of damage boost on consecutive hits or something like that, or, you know, increasing afterburn, but I don't like the fact that it does crit. I'm hoping to see that adjusted, and I think its fire rate is a little too high. I think it needs some tweaking before it gets to a really balanced state. And then there's the hot hand, which is essentially an eviction notice, which I'm kind of salty about because they gave the pyro an eviction notice while completely fucking over my own. I really want my eviction notice back. Which I suppose could lead us to the next thing, the balance changes. Some of them I think were a little unnecessary. Some stuff like the Rescue Ranger, the gloves running urgently, the eviction notice, the Fist of Steel, which I kind of get, and I've honestly, I've enjoyed having the chance to go back to the Fist of Steel, even though it's more or less kind of being forced to do so. But in any case, the Fists of Steel have, overall, I feel they're mostly unaffected by the nerf. They're actually a better combo weapon than ever, and comboing them with the Locust Bar basically cancels out the overheal nerf, so they function just fine for me, and it's great to go back to those because they're my favorite weapon, even if I can't reskin them. Please, Valve, please let me reskin my fists. Please let me have skinned fists. I want more fists. I want more fisting powers. Please. In any case, I think, you know, there's some good concepts here, some good ideas. I like what's been done. I like that Valve is trying something, that they're trying to balance some things. Even if I think that some of the changes are a little unnecessary, they're at least doing something, and I'm hoping that they continue with this trend, which is, I suppose this is becoming kind of theme of this video, is there's a trend of Valve at least trying to do something. They're making some movements, which is better than doing nothing at all. And I wish to see them continue doing this work and continue seeing what they can do, and eventually things are going to end up working out. Even if things aren't perfect right now, the fact that Valve is moving in any direction is great, and we're eventually going to get somewhere, and we're eventually going to get things where they need to be. Alright, and next up we're going to talk about the maps, and there's really not a whole lot to say about the maps. The general theme of all the Jungle Inferno maps is they're big, they're wide, they're open, they're exotic with a whole lot of flank routes, there's a whole lot going on, and I like them. Some people are kind of iffy on them, but I think they're interesting. I'd like to see how they end up coming into a sort of meta. I'd like to see some of these put into comp rotation. I'm not entirely sure they will, but it would be interesting to see. I think these maps are very fun to play on. My personal favorite is Mercenary Park. It is very much a big map with a whole lot of options, but at the same time it also constrain things and everything. These maps are not perfect. No map truly is, except Sujin. Sujin is Jesus Christ, and you cannot convince me otherwise. But it's very fun. I enjoy these maps. I think they are very artistically pleasing. They are wonderful to look at. They're fun to go through, and I just can't wait to see how they end up developing further into the game. And then next I'm going to talk about the contracts here. And the contracts, there's really not a whole much to it. One thing I do have to say, though, is I really enjoy the fact that they are in the game now. I really enjoyed having the Halloween contracts back for the Scream Fortress update, and I really enjoy having them now because there's actually a reward for actually going out and playing casual. There's actually benefits to playing the game now, and beyond that, there's also just Uh, it's more fun, it's more rewarding, gives you something to do. It allows you to kind of focus on improving on certain areas by forcing contracts to have you specifically having to achieve certain tasks, such as, trying to tank damage with the Fists of Steel or trying to learn how to use the thermal thruster, stuff like that. I really, really enjoy that because it forces you to learn, it forces you to develop, and it rewards you for doing so. So I think that that is a wonderful addition to the game. I think the fact that we're actually getting, physically rewarded with, tickets and keyless crates and stuff like that. I want to see more keyless stuff because I hate having to shovel out money for keys. I live off of nothing. Please send money. But overall, I think this is nice. I'm glad to see that there's more rewarding experience, and I think it's overall really fun to do. And it's interesting, and there's more, just more. I know that there's some troubles with the contracts, there's some glitches and stuff like that, but then again, that's just little bug stuff that Valve could have noticed earlier, but, as long as they get it fixed, I'll give them a pass because, again, them doing something is better than them doing nothing. So, that's what I got to say about that. All in all, what I have to say about Jungle Inferno is it's good. It's really good. And even if it's not fully polished, even if it has quite a few mistakes, even if it has some things that need to be fixed, all in all, the thing is that for the first time in a year, there is something. And there's not just something, there's a whole lot of somethings. Even if none of them are perfect, even if they all need some adjustment and some tweaking, some fixes and everything, there's a whole lot of new stuff. And that is what we've been needing for a very long time. It's just anything new. And I'm hoping that Valve continues on this trend like we've seen them do for quite some time, and we just continue getting new content, new fixes, and just overall more care and love for the game. I really, really appreciate what the Jungle Inferno has done, and while it is nowhere near the perfect update, and I'm sure some people have a little bit of disappointment with it, I think it has been fun, and I think it is great that something is happening. Now, I'm going to finish it with this, though. Valve, don't think Jungle Inferno means that we're not going to let you do Scream Fortress and Smith. Those are fucking happening. I'm going to have my spooky time. You better give me my fucking spooky time. And with that, Kip out. I'll see you in the next video.